Okay, so as you can see, it's not very good today.
Is it going to be like this all day?
It's going to be like this all day. It's not only is it cold, but it's raining all day too, so it's definitely a non-beekeeping day, which isn't good.
Yeah, it's not good.
Let's see what... yeah, it's raining all day long, John. But the good news is it's going to be not so cold overnight, and I think we can hit the road immediately in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
It's an overnight low of 45.
Oh yeah.
So I think we can get in the trucks immediately and hit the road in the morning. So we just received 3 boxes of queens from Chris Werner. First thing we got to do is inspect, make sure the queens are all alive. We actually had a disaster happen 2 weeks ago. We had a box of bees arrive and every single queen was dead. It wasn't Chris's fault, and we're not even sure what happened, honestly. It could have been something as simple as the box was sitting next to a exhaust pipe of a truck with UPS or something. Anyway, so we kind of learned to just be real sure that all the queens are alive before we start doing splits tomorrow.
There's a lot of queens in that box too.
There was a lot of queens in that box. That was expensive. Is that a dead one?
Yes, sir.
Okay. It's actually common to have 1 or 2 in these boxes that are dead, and that's why most queen producers will ship an extra 1 or 2 per 100, sometimes 3 per 100. Chris does it. Others I know do it. It's common. Like opening a Christmas package, there's always one more piece of tape. Okay, we also need to count them when you're done looking for dead ones. I need to know exactly how many we have. Okay. They all got a nice red dot on them. Yeah, those sponges, redip them, soak them in the bucket. They still got plenty of food. That's plenty of food to last till tomorrow, no problem. Just soak these, sopping wet, and then put them back in the box. Okay. Chris actually dips the bottom part of his queen shipping banks, whatever you call these boxes. He dips them in wax so that they're waterproof. That way he can put sponges and water towels or whatever he wants on the bottom and it won't soak into the cardboard. A lot of people put that stuff in a baggie or something like that to keep it from soaking the box. I like what Chris does much better. These wet sponges right in the bottom, wide open so the bees can get to them is really the best way. So we had 1 dead one in that box, had 1 dead one in that box, but Chris sent 2 extra in each box, so we're actually 1 ahead in both these boxes, and still got to open that 3rd box, see what's in there. And then when we're done, and you get the lid back on, I want you to put one of those bottles of feed. We put like a honey bear or a 1 pound bottle with a high flow type tip through the lid, and I'd like it to end up right there, and feed these overnight until we use them tomorrow. Okay. We use half honey, half water, or thin sugar syrup, one or the other, to feed these things. Yeah, truck's loaded, ready for tomorrow. I think because it's a rainy day, we're going to start prepping boxes for next week too. Get all this done. I think we might have some nice days on Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. We got a bunch of them to do. You're going to have to watch the air compressor. You might run it out of air from time to time. You'll know when the air pressure gets low, you know. So,
Yeah.
all right, good luck. What you doing?
Just getting things kind of consolidated, moving buckets around, getting the treatment kind of organized, getting everything going.
Okay, so you're gonna make us a couple totes of syrup too?
Yeah, we got a half a tote we got to pump in, and then I'm gonna make another one, and that'll give us 2 totes for tomorrow.
I do like the rubber mallet.
You like what? What do you like?
That rubber mallet?
Oh yeah, pounding them together, yeah. So,
You're the one who told me that.
we're putting together cypress boxes today. That's what we're using for ourselves. We got a bunch of them to put together. That's one of the problems with splitting with a double screen board. You need a lot of deep boxes, which it's okay. We'll use them eventually for other things after we're done splitting. You know, it's kind of nice to have a rainy day once in a while, do something different.
Yeah, no, it is.
Selena, can you work on Sunday?
Yes, I can.
But that's what you call putting you on the spot. I just got to warn you, we're getting into that position now where it's going to be, you know, every day we possibly can we'll be in the bees.
Yes,
Okay,
I can do.
thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, still building on it.
That's how it's ready to go to the paint booth. Carrie, did Nathan ever tell you that I show up when you least expect it with a camera in my hand?
He did.
He warned you about that? Oh boy, we're in dark back here. Let me adjust the f-stop here. Yeah, I do it all the time. So I'm just doing YouTube work. I wanted to explain on our YouTube channel that we actually paint by hand rather than spray paint. We do spray paint occasionally, but I prefer the hand paint job because it's so much better. It's costly. In fact, in the long run, it probably is costing me more than it's worth, but I still like to do it. When you paint by hand, you brush the paint into the cracks and the nail heads and the handles. When you brush everything in like this, you get a much better paint job. Lasts a lot longer, helps keep the wood longer. How's it going, Nathan?
Hey, how's it going?
Pretty good.
Painting along.
Painting along, yeah. So I was just explaining how we brush everything in. Roller, brush, whatever.
Better than spray.
Yeah. So we're using a oil-based primer and then 2 coats of acrylic latex enamel on our boxes. I don't know if I ever told you a story. I had a friend back in my Oregon days that was really smart. I mean, he was a 3,000 colony beekeeper, and he had been a professor of economics in California at one of the universities, and he'd gotten involved in the hippie commune kind of thing, and at some point they decided somebody had to be the beekeeper on the place, and he volunteered. Well, turned out he was really good at it, and eventually decided he'd make a living at it and ended up with 3,000 colonies eventually. Anyway, he was super good with numbers and analyzing labor and all that type of stuff, and he came to the conclusion that it was actually cheaper in the long run to not paint them at all. Just he didn't treat them, he didn't paint them, he just put the boxes together and sent them out. And he said that the paint job, the cost of the paint job versus the extended life of the box wasn't worth the labor.
Was he using pine stuff, I guess?
He was using ponderosa pine, which is actually better than white pine. You get a little more life out of ponderosa. It's got more oil in the wood, but it still rots. But he was convinced, absolutely convinced that it was not worth the money to paint your boxes.
Well, another reason we paint them white is for the heat, right? To keep the heat
Well,
off.
yeah, you know, they dip them in paraffin too, but I don't like that because they get darker, and I just prefer having a nice white paint job. And
Sure.
I had a friend, Billy Engel, you didn't know him, he's passed about 10 years ago. He said it's a borderline sin not to paint a beehive white.
Oh, really? He really liked
He,
the white
well,
ones?
he was joking. He was quite a religious man, so that was the way he was making a joke. He
They
said,
should
you know,
be white.
he says, Bob, it's a borderline sin not to paint them white. This looks good. Assembly line.